By the evening of the day Paul disappeared, there was some concern regarding where he might be, but everyone believed he was on his way back, that he would show up at any minute. The creak from the gate each time was him. Bendik didn't go into his study to work for an hour or so, as he often did. He came out to the parlor and stood by the room dividers, buttoning his shirt, though his eyes were fixed on Ma. "I'm just going to walk to the gate," he said, and Ma nodded, murmuring a response but never looking away from the pile of papers she was marking on the dining table. She shuffled some and then set them aside. "Bibi, please see that the phone receiver is properly placed." Bibi picked up the receiver and dropped it gently. A click escaped, and then she picked it up again and replaced it, just to make sure. Bendik came back a few minutes after. Ma looked up at the door hopefully as he walked in. "Nothing," Bendik said. "But there's still time." They sat in the parlor until long after midnight. Twice the lights went out, but no one moved or even muttered "Nepa" with the usual irritation. The lanterns stationed in the passage stayed trimmed low, casting a yellow light beside the eddying shadow of the curtain hem. Generator engines started up in the nearby compounds, one after another, and then together became a steady roar for several minutes until power was restored and ordinary quiet returned as the engines were killed off. The silence was so sudden and pure. It seemed as if the clock on the parlor wall had come to life, the slender second hand scratching its halting way around like a cripple. Bendik looked up at the clock. "It's way past your bedtime," he said to Bibi and Ajie. He took off his glasses and wiped the lenses slowly with the edge of his wrapper. "Wherever your brother is, he has probably decided to sleep there tonight. It's too late for him to be on the road. We will see him in the morning." Bendik said the last sentence with conviction, as if he had kept Paul somewhere safe for the night and would make sure to call him out in the morning. Ajie found it easy to fold himself into Bendik's confidence. The calmness in his father's voice, the certainty, felt much better than the roar of noises in his own head. Bibi was standing behind the sofa where Ma sat, her hand on the headrest beside Ma's dark, straightened hair, and Ajie could tell Bibi didn't want to go to bed either. "But sleep where?" Ma's voice rose sharply. "Where could he have gone that he cannot return home tonight? I don't understand the meaning of this nonsense." Bendik put his glasses back on. Ma looked at her wristwatch and then up at the clock on the parlor wall. "Paul knows how dangerous the roads can be at night. He knows," she muttered. Ajie and Bibi shuffled off to their rooms, leaving their parents in the parlor. Ajie climbed into bed but was unable to sleep. He saw for the first time how high the bedroom ceiling was, and how long the curtains were, nearly grazing the floor beside Paul's bed. "In the morning, Paul will be home," he thought as his eyes scanned the half-lit space between his bed and Paul's. The fluorescent light was on in the parlor. He didn't hear his parents speaking, but for a long time kept his eyes on the white light that fell through the gap underneath his door, straining his ears, willing his parents to say something he could hear, or at least get up, turn off the light, and go to their room. When he woke up in the morning, Ajie looked around the room, his gaze sweeping the corners. He got up and checked the foot of Paul's bed to see if his sandals or backpack had returned to their usual place, but there was nothing. Bendik was getting ready to go to the police station when Ajie came out of his room. He heard Bendik's voice and walked into his parents' bedroom, where Bendik was combing his hair before a standing mirror. His long-sleeved white shirt was tucked into his white underpants, sticking out above his hefty thighs. His black pinstripe suit was laid out on the bed. "Mbanyo," Ajie greeted him. "Good morning." Bendik held the comb away from his head as he responded. "How was your sleep?" he asked, and waited for Ajie to speak before he added, "I'm going to make a report at the police station." He picked up his trousers from the bed. Mere formality. He put his legs into the trousers quickly and then reached for his shoes. Maybe Paul will be home before I even get to the station. He told Ajie that Ma had driven to work to drop off keys and that she would return home as soon as she could. Once Paul returns, Bendik instructed Ajie, peering at his son's reflection in the mirror, ring my office immediately. Tell Bibi this too, and if I'm not there, leave a message with my secretary. You hear me? Ma came in from work just before lunchtime. She stopped by the gate as she drove in and wound down the car window to speak to Ismaila. Ajie and Bibi stood from where they sat on the veranda steps and walked toward the driveway. Ajie knew she was asking Ismaila if Paul had returned. When she got into the house, she dropped her bag beside her on the sofa and slipped off her shoes. Your brother has not returned? She said. Ajie shook his head. Bibi said no. Ma gave a light shrug and turned her lips downward the way people do when they don't know what to make of something.